Welcome to the A Train Sports Talk Podcast. This is your host and your conductor. As I always say, it is the number one podcast in the state of Kansas. And the reason I say that is not because of me, it's because I have guests. And my other saying is city to city, state to state, coast to coast. And we are literally going coast to coast. Now, my next guest, she's saying 6'6", I do believe. She's in the state of New Mexico. I'm not going to treat her like I treat Ed Nunez because he calls it a different state. It's the state of enchantment, but you can figure out what he calls it. Uh, she has a 19-point scoring average, and I looked at some stats. She even averaged 15 and a half points as an eighth grader, which would suggest her skill set was that she was playing varsity in eighth grade. And if I'm wrong, she will correct me. She's
No,
part
you're
of
correct.
Mocan. She's a part of Mocan as well too. I do believe from the bio I seen on her. Anything else I'm missing? I'm going to let her introduce herself. None other than from the state of New Mexico, Harper Dunn. Harper, welcome in.
Thank you for having me today. I'm Harper Dunn, and I'm from New Mexico, and I play for Corona High School here.
Corona High School. That is correct. And to my listeners, I want y'all to get the emphasis is Corona High School. It's not Corona that you drink. So tell us a little bit of something because, like I said before we went on, I seen you doing this before, and you seem such a natural. And Ed told me some things. To those of you who don't know, Ed Nunez is a friend of mine. We became friends because of social media. We're avid Dallas Cowboy fans. So if you're not one, don't hold that against us. But he told me that you actually done a little bit of play-by-play as well too. So tell us about that before we get into your basketball playing days.
Yes, so I was fortunate enough last year around this time that they invited me onto their podcast, Road to the Pit, I believe. And,
Yep.
I had a really great experience there, and I really liked talking to them. And I love basketball, and I love talking about basketball. It brings me such great joy, and I can talk for hours and hours about it. And so I had told them about that. And right after that, our state playoff games had come up, and they were like, "Hey, would you like to do some play-by-play and come down and do some games with us?" And I said, "Absolutely." And they were fortunate enough, and they've been mentoring me with it, and just it's been a great experience, and I've had a lot of fun.
Absolutely. So I want to make sure that I got this right because I've noticed sometimes that max prep could be a little bit kind of, I want to say, off kilter and not quite accurate with their stats. But it is true that you played as an eighth grader at the varsity level. Is that correct?
Yes, sir, I did. So, my school is really small, and with that, we really need everybody that we can get. And so, my eighth grade year, we to make our varsity team, I ended up playing varsity and doing that, and so that was a really neat experience. And there was a learning curve as being an eighth grader, but it was a good experience.
Absolutely. So at what age did you actually start playing basketball? At what age did you decide, I actually like this sport? I want to pursue this sport. And how quick was your learning curve?
Well, my learning curve is still happening, so I wouldn't say it's quick, but I'm still learning. But I really started playing basketball my seventh grade year. I'd done a little bit in sixth grade, but COVID came, and so I really didn't do much there. And then seventh grade, I fell in love with it. Started playing junior high, and then I just got absolutely hooked and never could get enough.
Never could get enough. So with
Yes,
that
sir.
being said, I'm pretty sure there were some influences either locally or just from watching the game. So who are some of your influences, whether it comes from watching the game or from some people that have sold into you personally? Who are some of your
You know,
influences in
So
basketball?
I'm really blessed. I have a great support system around me. So my stepmom, she played for OU, and then my dad played for Central Arkansas. So basketball is a family thing. So I have great mentors around me. I actually have a fantastic ag teacher who I'm super close with, and then I'm my high school coach. She's great. She's super supportive of this journey with me, whether it's recruiting or just learning new skills and implementing those from AAU. I'm really close with my grandparents. So I have a really tight circle when it comes to that. And then as far as other mentors, um, there's some people I look up to in college basketball and that kind of thing. But those are my closer knit circle for mentors.
And from me observing the game now, because it is I actually just got back into really following, and when I say following the game, I mean actually going to games live and then going on Max Prep and whatever else other outlet to really study the game of basketball, especially on the women's side. Uh, who are some of the players like at the upper level, whether it be the college level or the WNBA? Is there anyone that you would say you would pattern your game after, or you would like for your game to be like, besides being yourself now?
My mentality towards that is that I want to be the best that I possibly can. And so it's not specifically one player, but it's a bunch of little things from other players. Like Cameron Brink, she's in the league now. Her shot blocking ability, I really like watching that, and I like to implement that a lot in my game. Ioka Lee, who's currently playing at K-State, I like how high she holds the ball. Sedona Prince has a fabulous face-up when she can shoot from the high post. Kiki Ariafit from USC is one of my favorites. She's very versatile, and so I appreciate that. And then there's some post players at Kentucky right now who I'm really big fans of, and that's Clara Strack and then Key, because they're both very versatile, but they're also really good at using their mismatch on the inside and scoring off of that. So those are probably my top right now.
Absolutely. And one of the things I've noticed is you are getting offers right now. And, you know, I used to see stuff like, okay, this person is this age, but they're getting offers already. But now it doesn't surprise me. So how is that process going? Because I believe your latest offer came from Minnesota Golden Gophers. But I
Yes, sir.
but I noticed you said your circle, you had some family that went to OU, some Central Arkansas, and you're in tune with Kansas State, and we'll get to the state of Kansas later because you did drop the bug, and I don't know how much you want to talk about that. I'm just going to assume that that's possibly a recruiting trip. But how is the process going getting recruited at an early age before you get to your senior season now?
I've been really lucky, and I know a lot of players that's like their dream and everything, and so I've had a very positive recruiting experience. And once again, I said that I was really close with my stepmom who played at OU, and so she's really helped me navigate that. And so as a family, we kind of treat it as a job, right? Because when I go to college, I'd like to commit for 4 years and be there. That's kind of my goal, and so I want to find a program that really fits for that. So as a family, and at least my mission, I kind of work to figure out what it is that I really want as far as coaching style. So we watch a lot of basketball in my house, and then we listen on the phone calls, and we listen for the little things and take notes. We even have a spreadsheet about like whatever school's recruiting me at the time.
Absolutely. Um,
Yeah.
so you said something because nowadays, especially with NIL transfer portal, you said wherever you go, you want to commit for 4 years. So what I want to do is I want to kind of back up a little bit because one of the things I like to ask student athletes, I do put the emphasis on student part. With everything that's going on basketball wise, what is your grade point average?
Oh, I have a 4.0.
Yeah, okay. I want to make sure everybody hear that. She has a 4.0 grade point average. Now, you've been a young person. I want you to emphasize the importance of how important education is.
I would really agree with that. I think you are a student before you are an athlete. And, whether I think athletes, we really don't like to admit this, but at some point in time, you're not going to be able to play basketball anymore. So you're going to have something else you're passionate about or good at, or some other way to make money. And so I think education is one of the best ways to do that and figure out what that might be for you.
Absolutely. Now, I want to ask you about the AAU scene because I seen in your bio on X, and I'm still old school, so I'm liable to still call it Twitter, so don't hold that against me.
Me
But
too. Me too.
thank you. You know what? That deserves this right here. But in your bio, I seen it mentioned MoCan, which is an AAU team. Uh, tell me about your connection with MoCan.
So Becky has a friend, and she's actually coaching and on the staff at Arizona State right now. And she recommended me, I believe, 2 years ago to which was actually originally Southwest Elite, which Dylan um, ran. And so we got connected up with him. And then, so I said I'd kind of go to a small school. Well, I live in the middle of nowhere. And my family ranches out here. And so I'm really big in what we call show cattle. And it's just essentially you're just showing market animals. And Dylan was, when he was around my age, was one of the best in the country. And so I really bonded with him. And then I actually picked up a tournament in Louisville 2 years ago, just kind of out of the blue. And I really, really enjoyed the community. And Craig and Aaron, they're fabulous coaches, and I'm really close with them. And so, I did that, and I was like, wow, I need to go back. I love these people, and I like what they're doing, and it's a great opportunity. And so just from there, we've never stopped, never looked back.
So with that being said, that means if help me if I'm wrong now, were you part of the team this past summer that was at the showcase in Andover, Kansas?
I don't believe so. I don't know though.
Okay. All right. Because trust me, I went and I was blown away by all the talent, all the teams that was there, and looking up to something like, whoa, wait a minute, what grade is that? She's only a what? Only a freshman and 6'3". What? I mean, it was some talented teams out there. So when I seen your name connected with Mocan, I'm like, okay,
Yes.
you're gonna
And
have
I will say I love my teammates so much. We have such a cool environment on our team, and they're so fun to watch. Like, they're just such great athletes and so skilled. It just makes it so fun, and they're great people, and I have a blast with them.
and what is I've asked some that have played on AAU teams, what is the biggest difference between playing AAU and playing regular team high school ball? What's the biggest difference? What's the adjustment?
I think it's expectation a little bit. And just like when I say expectation, I mean what the players are trying to get out of it, what their baseline skills are, and you know, each come with their own challenges and each come with their own gifts, and they are different, but I do enjoy them both, but they are different.
Absolutely. So back to the college recruiting experience. You said you want to commit for 4 years. Uh,
Yes, sir.
does NIL play a part in that, or is it the love of the game itself and knowing that wherever you go to, you want to be committed because of something maybe the coach might have offered? What? How does that all play a part? Because nowadays you can't separate college athletics, even on the female side, without mentioning NIL and transfer portal. So how does all of that play in together?
Well, I think NIL and I think the transfer portal are great, but for me, that's not why I do it. I love basketball and I can't get enough. And when I say I want to go to a program and when I'm finding that, I want a coach that fits me and is going to help develop me as a player. And I think we can all agree college athletics are really hard. Like, there's really hard days. And so for me, I want to be somewhere where I'm okay being there on the hard days and know that I'm doing the right thing. And so it's really not about money for me or that. It's just, the love of the game and hopefully loving where I am.
And I'm pretty sure you want to be in an environment where it's kind of like a family type environment as well too, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, well, I'm not going to put a plug in, but you said you're going to be in the state of Kansas here coming up in later in March, I do believe. Now, if that's something you want to elaborate on, you can do that. But if it's something you just want to keep under wraps, by all means. But it's up to you about that trip to Kansas.
Yes, I'm actually going up there to, AAU season is starting, and as it progresses, it's harder to get in workouts and get team practices. And for me as a player, I love to be prepared. That is my favorite thing. I like to feel like I've put the work in and I've practiced. And so when I go out and I step on the floor, I'm putting all I've got. I'm prepared and I'm ready. So I'm going to go up there and I'm going to work out with Craig and Aaron.
Yeah.
And then I'll get to see my team too, which will be great because I've missed them a lot. So.
Hey, and I want to say that you are in good hands with Craig and Aaron. I actually had Craig on my podcast. He is a fantastic guy. He is very animated on the sideline. Uh, they were playing the game last year, and he hit the too small. And I'm like,
Yes.
Did he just
Craig
bring you?
loves his cheering, and I love Craig's cheering. It's a lot of fun. In AAU, he's the same way, and it's a blast. You never know what expression's gonna come out, but I love it.
And I'm already envisioning seeing you in a Mo can. Hopefully, I get to see you play this year, especially when they have the big event in Andover with the I-35 showcase. I want to see you on that team because if it's going to be some of the same players that carry over from last year's team, I'm
Yes,
already
sir.
envisioning seeing you, Zoe Franklin, uh, Destiny Mays. She suffered an injury that she's going to be healing from, so hopefully she trusts the process and not rush the process. Uh, Bella Budara from Andover. Uh, I mean, I can't wait to see that collection of players. So, uh, any words? Because I believe you're very wise beyond your age. Before we let you go here, uh, any words of wisdom that you would like to share to anyone that will be watching this? And what could you tell someone to keep them encouraged if they're wanting to do the same thing you're doing?
I think it's different for everybody, but I think with sports, and at least for me, I think you have to love it, and I think working hard is the best thing you can do. And that it's not always easy, but there's kind of some joy in that it's not easy. Um, and that just keep working hard and do your thing, and don't let anyone stop you.
Absolutely. Well, I want to thank you once again for hopping on the train ride. I appreciate you. We're going to do this again. You are a fantastic guest. You say this is only your
Thank
second
you.
time, but like I say, you sound like a pro at it. So
Well, thank you. I appreciate
I
that.
I look forward to great things from you. I'm going to be keeping up with you, and I wish you nothing but the best. I'm gonna say it like this: whichever college team gets you, of course, I'm gonna be kind of biased. I wouldn't mind seeing you right here in Wichita, Wichita State University. That's my preference. I hope they recruit you. But
They do.
whichever,
They're one of my first offers, actually.
all right. Well, whichever school gets you, like I said, I hope it's that school. They're going to be getting them not just a great athlete, but I believe a great model citizen, one that will represent the university and the community as well. So once again, I want to thank you for being a guest on my show.
Yes.
All
Thank you
right.
so much for having me on the show. I can't wait to watch you more and listen more to your podcast. And I've had a great time. So thank you.
All right. Thank you too. Appreciate it.
Alrighty. Thank you.
Yep. All right. That was my first guest, Harper Dunn. Now you see why I say I have the number one podcast in the state of Kansas. I also want to say you see me dressed up. I just got home from church. So I want to say this is the day that the Lord has made. We shall rejoice and be glad in it. I hope those of you who are watching this, I hope you are having a blessed day wherever you may be. My day, I couldn't ask for a better day because that was my first guest. I have another guest coming up too. That's right. Today you get 2 for 1. That's right, 2 for 1. My next guest is from nearby, and she is going to plug in here shortly. Uh, she's at Campus High School up in Hayesville, Kansas, which I say is an extension of Wichita. Had a chance to see her play this year, and matter of fact, she the game that she played in, she had just came back from a concussion, so that was her first game back. And I don't know nothing about concussions, but I hear they are not anything nice. But she is I could tell you, she is very enthused as well too. Look forward to getting her on here. We're going to shoot her a message. That way, uh, we can get her plugged in here. Her name is Addison Woods. She is a guard at Campus High School. And if y'all are wondering what I am doing, I am pulling up her number so I can text her. I'm up here dropping stuff, up here fumbling the ball like Jerry Jones, owner of the Dallas Cowboys. Y'all can laugh at that. And I'm letting her know that we are ready. But yes, special thanks to Harper Dunn. She was a great guest. She handled that with ease, like a pro. Like I said, I seen her on my good friend. Y'all have heard me talk about him, Ed Nunez, and she was on the road to, I think it's the Pit Press podcast. And also, while I'm waiting for Addison to get logged in, want to send some shout outs to, I'm going to go ahead and start first with Derby, both the boys and girls basketball team. Both number one seed in their sub state, which means if you are following Derby, all you have to do is just go south on Rock Road, make the turn at that light, and you will run into the school. It is officially March Madness season starting at the high school level. Uh, also, want to send a shout out to Wichita Heights, the boys team. They secured their C League title. Uh, what a way to seeing Coach Joe Auer out. So he picks up another C League title, and I'm pretty sure they will work on getting that sub state title en route to getting a state title, which, from all accounts, may seem doable. Uh, from what I've heard, on the boys' side, I've heard that the defending state champ, Shawnee Mission Northwest, have taken some losses. And I'm pretty sure that is not, I don't know if that was to be expected or to be expected. Of course, when you have that bullseye on your chest, everybody's going to give you their best game. And I know in that neck of the woods, the competition is very stiff. Matter of fact, I believe I've had the coach from Blue Valley Northwest on. I think that's the coach. Uh, had him on before the season started, or the assistant coach. He talked about, how fierce the competition is up in that area. So I'm looking forward to some sub-state games. Also looking forward to state tournament. If I can get to some games, most likely they will be on Friday. And I know the way these sub-states, they play Friday and turn around and play Saturday. So hopefully I will get to check out some games. Also, shout out to my family out there. Yeah, I'm gonna call his name Chris Ellis. He is the dad of Samaya Ellis. Congratulations to Heights girls as well too. I believe they secured a number one seed in their sub state as well. So look forward to them in their quest to get back to Charles Cope Arena as well. I mean, around here is going to be just a basketball smorgasbord, a basketball buffet. Uh, Shout out to May South girls team coach Ben Hamilton. Wish you nothing but the best of luck. Uh, I believe if there's a team equipped to make a deep run in 5A, it would be May South. Also, here in Wichita, another team that I believe will be equipped to make a deep run would be that of Cape and Mount Carmel, led by their uh, led by Zoe Buckner Franklin, who is nothing but dominant on the basketball court. Uh, Back to May South, though. The reason I mentioned May South because I know they lost some key players off last year's team, but you bring back Skylar Seals, who's like the catalyst on that team, the point guard on that team. Uh, you plug in Allie Singleton, the younger sister, and she probably hates to hear this, the younger sister of, uh, oh my good, Well, her sister plays at Butler, Ashley Singletay. There we go. But Allie, she is making her own mark on that team. Then you throw in like some transfers like Ryland Chandler, who played at East High last year, who I feel like has no choice but to know the game because she's a coach's daughter. That's right. Her dad coached at East High last year. Uh, whatever the reason behind him stepping down, it remains to be seen. That's information I don't have, but uh, she's a coach's daughter. Once you were a coach's daughter, whether your dad is coaching or not, you're always a coach's daughter. So I know she has some knowledge of the game. So Coach Ben Hamilton, all he did was just plugged in and kept the beat going. In. You know, the reason I say if there's a team that's equipped to make a deep run, you have to remember that May South, all they did was knock off St. Thomas Aquinas girls team last year. Team had won 7 straight. Get this right, 7 straight 5A titles. Only thing that really stopped May South from getting over that hump, I believe, in the title game, because they actually had a player, and I believe it might have been Skylar. I'm not sure who was actually somebody on the team was actually playing, sucked it up, and wanted to play in the state championship game, knowing that they had a broke leg. Think about that. We live in an era where, even especially in the NBA, you have guys who will sit out because of a hangnail or a headache or whatever is ailing them. So the fact that you have a player who plays and sucks it up, knowing that they have something that's not right, they're to be commended. So yes, I definitely want to wish May South Lady Mavericks best of luck. Still waiting for my next guest. So what I'm going to do, I am going to see if I can pull up some of these brackets, some sub-state games in the area. I'm even give you some 4A as a team to look out for. Starting with 4A, and this game right here is going to be in Wellington for sure. Uh, you've heard the name uh, Britt Zika and the Norwood girl. Wellington High School, 19-1, will be hosting Winfield, 1-19. Again, will be Wednesday at 7 p.m. And I believe afterwards, well, I don't know how this is. They're saying games at 7 p.m. Uh, but Wellington is the number 1 seed against 16 seed Winfield High School. Uh, then you have number 9 McPherson taking on number 8 seed uh, Augusta. In sub-state number 2 on the 4A side, you have number 2 Bueller at 16-4 taking on number 15 Abilene at 3-17. This game will be on Wednesday. And then you have Pratt, the number 7 seed at 11-9, taking on Towanda Circle, the 10 seed at 9-11. In sub-state number 3, you have the number 3 seed Clay Center Community taking on number 14 Chapman at 3-17, and number 9 Mulvane at 11-9 taking on Hugoton, number 11 seed at 7-13. And then sub-state number 4 seed Andale at 13-7 will be taking on Concordia, the 13th seed at 5-15, and number 5 seed Clearwater at 12-8 will be taking on number 12 seed Rose Hill. And in each of these Uh, in each of these sub states, where you see sub state number one, the higher seed team is the host. So Wellington is the host. Sub state number two, Bueller is the host. Sub-state number three, Clay Center is the host. Sub-state number four, Andale is the host. And it goes off of seeding. So if let's say an upset happens along the way, and let's say the higher seed ends up being Clay Center, I do believe then that the home team for the championship game will be awarded the home court advantage. We did get word that my next guest will be joining us here shortly. She is getting plugged in. As soon as she gets tapped in, we will definitely get get her on here. But I want to give you some of that information. That way you'll know where to go, and I'll probably come back with some more information. Uh, but I'm just elated to have such great guests on, and we're getting ready to get connected with my next guest, which is Addison Wood, who is waving at us right now with a smile on her face. I am so glad to have her on. My second guest, let me just go ahead and give her applause as well too. Addison, we're very glad and elated to have you on. How are you doing today?
I'm doing really well. How are you doing today?
I am doing great. I am blessed and grateful to have you on here. I was able to check out a game. It was against Derby, and we know Derby just did what Derby does, but it's the fact that you came back after going through concussion protocol. I was looking at y'all's team roster. I know it's not the best season, but y'all still got good fan support out there. And from what I've seen on how y'all's roster is constructed, look like y'all have a lot of pieces coming back. But I don't want to put the cart before the horse because y'all still have a sub state and anything can happen. So tell me about the makeup of this team and your primary role on this team.
So basically, we wanted to make a special impact into our league. So we started getting with the young girls. So like Jocelyn Craig, who was a freshman, she was on a summer team, and I started scouting her for like a little bit because we went against each other one time. I was like, "Hey, Alan, we need this girl on our team." She's like, "Okay." So she got to play varsity. We really wanted to. We knew we were gonna win maybe like 2 or 3 games. We just wanted to stack it up to get like an understatement for our league.
Absolutely. You also play some AAU ball as well, correct?
Yes.
And what AAU team are you with, and how is that team constructed? Because I'm always curious because I know there's difference between high school, playing on your regular high school team, and playing on your AAU team. So, what differences do you see between the two?
So right now I'm on CM3T Guardians, but I got invited to play with the Missouri team over the summer. And so CM3T Guardians was a very young team. They started their girls program this year. And so I was like one of their leaders. So they wanted to create the program around me because they saw my film. They're like, "Hey, want you on the team." And so I played with them. There was a lot of younger girls, like two of them were freshmen, one of them was my grade, and one of them was a senior. And so they wanted to base the program around me. And then with this AU team, it's very young compared to campus. Campus is like starting to grow, but like this team is very young since there was like a new team.
Absolutely. So, at what age did you pick up basketball and decide, you know what, I like this game? And who were some of your influences? Who tapped into you? Who has sewn into you that it's okay if this is what you want to do? You got to be fully committed, but we're going to support you. So, at what age did this all happen?
So I started basketball around 5 years old, and I was with the hack team to start off. My parents were really supportive about that. And then I started doing like summer ball like around my 6th grade year with Wichita Storm. And my parents were like, "Oh yeah, you're gonna be good at this." So they started to get me in trainings and everything. And one like person that who I really looked up to when I was very young was Paige Beckers in high school.
Okay.
And so I really wanted to be like her. And then Caitlin Clark came along, but like Paige Beckers was like my dog.
Got you. I mean, hey, those aren't. Hey, those some pretty good people to look up to. I have no qualms about that. So, since you looked up to them, are there aspects of their game that you incorporate in your game, or are you pretty much carving your own niche? And the reason I ask that, by me being a musician, when I started out playing the saxophone, there were some saxophone players I would listen to, and it got to the point where people actually could listen at me that knew jazz, and they say, "You sound like such and such." So when some people see you play, would they say your game is similar to such and such, or do they say you have your own game?
So some of the younger classmen, like the freshmen, sophomores, they say like I play like page checkers when I drive the ball. Just like, oh, okay. So I started doing my game like my hair like her, like the two braids and ponytail. I started to do her braids. And so like I like to do my own game with the like a flair of page checkers. Like she drives the ball, get an and ones, but I mainly like to play my own game with like a hint of page checkers.
Got you. And what are some of the things that your coaches like to emphasize, whether it be the high school team or whether it be the AAU team? Do they emphasize the importance of the three ball because it seems like everybody wants to shoot the three, or do they emphasize drive the ball to the basket? Don't be afraid to play bully ball. Drive the ball to the basket, get fouls, go to the free throw line.
They want us to 100% drive the ball. I mean, if the shot's there, you can take it, we won't be mad, but they want us to drive the ball, like, 100%. Whenever I go to the bench, they're like, "You gotta drive the ball. Get an and one, get a foul." I'm like, "Okay." So I try to, like, drive the ball every single time. Even if I don't make it, that's alright.
Right. I like that philosophy. That was one of the things that I took notice of when I was at your game. I'm like, okay, they like to drive the ball. Of course, I know, like I said, y'all playing against a very athletic Derby team, so I wasn't surprised at the outcome because that's what Derby normally does. But I like to look at how teams play, even when the game is decided. Do they still have fight in them, or do they play defeated? And one of the things I noticed, y'all played until the very end. It's like if you turned the scoreboard off, you would think the game was competitive because y'all were playing to the end. You're out there getting players in the right, position, saying, "All right, the X's and O's of this, blah blah blah." You be right. I'm like, that's a leader right there. So, is leadership one of your strong qualities?
Yes, I like to be a leader on and off the court because I help, like, freshmen around. I'm a link leader at Campus High School. I help freshmen around, so I'm always there for somebody if they need it, like, mentally or physically, I'm always there, even on and off the court.
Absolutely, I appreciate. I can enjoy that. One of the things I like to always ask student athletes, with emphasis on student. First thing I want to ask you is, what is your grade point average?
4.0 GPA, I've had it all since middle school.
Now I want you to sound the whistle. Why is education so important? And the reason I ask you that question, because me being an older man, it's expected of me to sound the whistle for education. And in most cases, young people will listen, but they be like, "Oh, they're just an old person talking." But it resonates, as the young people say, it hits different when it's up here. So I want you to sound the importance of education.
Okay. So since I'm a student athlete, I always put school first. Like education's always been in me. Like my parents want me to go to college, so education has always been there. It helps me with learning what I want to do. Like right now, I'm still undecided what I want to do in college, but I have like some things that I want to do, but education's helping me. So when my teachers come to me, they say, "Hey, what's your strong suit in education?" I'm like, I like science and reading." They're like, "Okay, we'll do those things." And so I've been acing all the tests, acing all the quizzes, doing all the homeworks on time. And right now I'm in public speaking. That's kind of doing okay, but I'm still learning about it. So education always has to be there. Like even if you're like a student athlete, education always comes first before the athlete. That's why they call a student before the athlete.
Absolutely. I appreciate that answer. Now, let me ask you this question. Is this your first ever podcast?
Yes.
You know what? I couldn't tell because you seem such a natural at this, the way you handle yourself, your demeanor. So I want to do like this. I want to say a shout out to your parents because they seem to have molded you into the young lady that you are, the leader
Yes.
that you are, uh, the model citizen that you are. You really handle yourself well, not just on the court, but I can now officially say off the court. I really appreciate you.
Thank you.
The next question I want to ask you, since we were talking education, have you been getting any offers from any colleges, whether it be major colleges, NAIA schools, junior colleges, any offers just yet?
So back in October, I got an offer from Dallas Christian College. It's a Division 3, the NCCAA. So for it's a Christian school. That's the only offer I have, but I've been talking with other coaches daily, like Southwestern and a little bit of Liberty University in Virginia.
Okay, so it sound like some of these schools are kind of faith based, and I do believe that you are a person of faith. How much does your faith help you out on and off the court?
So my faith helps me like every time I pray before the game, like in the locker room and nobody's in there, I always pray because my grandpa, he passed away from colon cancer. So I like kind of with God and with my papa too. So
Appreciate that. And the reason I asked that question because I want people to feel comfortable, when they're on the show, let them know, hey, if you want to share your faith on this show, you can do that. The floor is always open. I will not shy away from that. Matter of fact, like I just came from church myself today, so that's why I come. I'm still dressed up, but yeah, I just want you to be able to share that. Feel comfortable sharing that. Don't be ashamed to share that. Some people, why they let people be people. That's how I look at it.
yeah.
Well, with this process, how do you think the recruitment process will actually go once it really ramps up? I mean, what are you looking to get from the college experience when you make that next step?
I'm just hoping to have a spot. Like, even if I'm on the bench, I want to have a spot. And it all depends on like what I want to do in college. Like my college choices are mainly on education before the athlete side. So like if the college doesn't have what I want or it doesn't interest me, I will kind of be okay, but I really want to focus on my education when I go into college.
All righty. Well, young people, I want y'all to make sure y'all hear that. She's talking college. She's talking education. Notice how she mentioned the sports last. She said even if she just gets a spot, it's all about the college and all about education. And I appreciate you for hammering home the education part because at the end of the day, the ball is going to stop bouncing and you're going to need something to fall back on. So always sound the education whistle. In closing, though, I want to ask you this question. Is there a possibility y'all can pull off an upset in sub-state and find yourself in state? And what is the future for the campus lady coach moving forward?
So I think we can 100% pull an upset. Like how we played against Mays last week, we can pull it. If we just played like that, we can 100% upset Liberal and possibly be a dominant factor in sub-state. Even in the final eight, we can get there. And then for like next year for campus, we are definitely going to have a lot of seniors because some of our juniors are on JV. And so we're gonna have to rely on the younger generation, getting them up to speed. Like our freshmen, we have two really good freshmen, Shauna Jacobs and JJ. So we're gonna try and focus on them a little bit more, while focus on winning on varsity. We're gonna be hammering hard during like off season, going to off season workouts and stuff.
All righty. Well, I want to wish you the best of luck. First in sub-state because this basketball season isn't over until the clock lines up all zeros, and what will matter most at the end is the final score. So I want to wish you young ladies the best of luck. All right, and
Thank you.
whatever happens, always keep your head up, keep smiling, because like I told you, I said first time I seen you, I see leadership qualities in you. So always be a leader and never a follower. Once again, thank you for being on the show. Appreciate you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. Once again, the A Train Sports Talk podcast. I told you I have the guest. And young people, when they talk about other things besides sports, they talk about the education. I do that for a reason because education is still important. No, I didn't excel on the education side, but I have a platform to where others can get the message out as to why education is so important. Uh, I look forward to some more guests this week. I will be back on here tomorrow morning around 10 o'clock time because my special guest, if I'm correct, will be Dylan Evans. If y'all want to know about him, y'all have to tune in to listen. But I look forward to having him on, and I know if nothing else, he'll be happy to check out today's show. But that's all I have for you for right now. I can smell some food in my kitchen, which means my wife is probably in there cooking up something. So time for me to get up out of here. But until the next time, I want you to take care of yourself and each other. Have a blessed rest of your day. Till next time, I'm out of here.